Wow. For the last couple of years now, I've been using this iPad mini 2, which is getting a tad out of date. It can't update to the latest iOS, I can't use Garageband, it's slowly becoming a useless brick, so I thought it was about time I got an upgrade. So I went ahead and bought myself a brand new iPad Air. This is actually the first time I've ever bought a brand new Apple device, and all the other Apple devices I've ever had have been quite old. They haven't had all the cool features that they have these days, like fingerprint recognition, cool cameras, slow-mo, all that kind of stuff. But finally I've got all that and more. So first thing we've got is the iPad itself. Ooh, look at that. So this right here is the space gray 64GB Wi-Fi version of the iPad Air. Obviously you can get the one with cellular, but I'm only going to be using it at home for doing videos, so I thought that was completely unnecessary. It's weird having a device that doesn't have a home button. I'm not sure how that's going to feel. I'm sure I'm going to get used to it quite quickly, but right now it's a very odd look. It always amazes me how they've managed to keep iPads really slim. With the amount of stuff they cram into it, I expect it to be a lot thicker, but no, not at all. So also inside the box, we've got what I think is the manual. Then we've got the USB-C cable and the plug. Oh, that is oddly satisfying. Pull up one, all three come out. They could have just put a simple plug in here, but no, you had to make it fancy. I guess I got to make it worth the cost somehow. Select language, English, UK. Here we go. So we're going to set up the Touch ID, so that's fingerprint recognition. And I didn't realize that it's the button on top, which is also the fingerprint sensor. And then it takes another fingerprint just in case you're holding it landscape. See, that is neat. Restore apps and data. Let's restore via the iCloud. I'm so glad that the iCloud is a thing just because it makes things so much more straightforward. So I can just log in and it takes everything from my old iPad and throws it onto my new one, which just makes setting up these things so much easier. True tone display. iPad automatically adapts to ambient lighting conditions to make colors appear consistent in different environments. That is very interesting. The age-old debate, light or dark mode. I'm going to stick with light just because I feel like it shows up best on camera, and that's kind of what I need right now. But maybe later down the line, I will try out dark mode and see what all the fuss is about. And now we need to play the waiting game while this thing restores all the apps from the iCloud. Oh. It's done. I really do wish there was a way to keep fingerprints to a minimum on an iPad. I could buy a stylus, but that's just another piece of kit that I will probably lose, so best not do that. So right now it's installing all the apps that I had on here previously, like the Oddball app, we've got the Garageband app, and it's already downloading Garageband straight off the bat, which is actually one of the main reasons that I bought this thing. Everyone goes on about Garageband and how it's really good, but I've never had a device that can use it, so now's my time to try it out. Also, another big reason why I got this iPad is because screen recording on the old iPad mini was a bit shoddy. It would always record at a really bad frame rate, it would constantly cut out, it would just record audio and the video would get corrupted, I don't know, it was just a bad time. But now I have an iPad with a lot more power, I'm expecting it to be able to capture the screen a hell of a lot better. Maybe now we'll have a consistent frame rate for the first time. It's going to be great. So while things are installing, let's go over some of the specs I actually understand. It has a 10.9-inch LED backlit display with a resolution of 2360 by 1640. It also has a fingerprint resistant coating, and despite it already being covered in fingerprints, I'm going to guess that probably just means that they wipe off a lot better instead of just being constantly stained onto the iPad. It's a fully laminated display with an anti-reflective coating, and it also contains Apple's A14 Bionic 64-bit chip, which is apparently 16% faster than the A13 chip and 40% faster than the A12 chip. And I think the iPad mini 2 contains the A7 chip, so already we know this is going to be a hell of a lot faster. On the back you now have a 12 megapixel camera with a 5-element lens and a max aperture of 1.8. And it's got inbuilt stabilization, it can take HDR photos, it's got a burst mode, and when it comes to video you can do 4K 60 FPS, and at 1080p you can do 120 FPS or 240, which means you can get very nice slow-mo on this thing. So I'm definitely going to be trying that out. Unfortunately at 4K you can't use the cinematic video stabilization, but you can use it at 720p or 1080p. And then on the front you've got your 7 megapixel camera with a max aperture of 2.2, and you can shoot 1080p 60 FPS, but no 4K. And pretty much all those specs that I just listed are the main important things to me. Everything else is just a nice extra. Okay, first things first, let's check out Garageband. Time to grab my headphones. Time to plug in my headphone. iPads don't have headphone ports anymore. God damn it! This is the only device that I've ever owned that doesn't have a headphone port. It's not something I'm used to the point where I completely forgot that was a thing. Okay, inbuilt speaker it is. Wow, there's a lot of stuff on here. Jesus, I've been missing out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Straight up, a full drum kit. That didn't sound bad. That's actually pretty good. That's actually a really good drum sample. Ooh, it actually gives you a full Chinese drum kit. Didn't even know that was a thing. Even comes with a gong. Ah, I've always wanted one of those. I'm kind of amazed that the iPad is velocity sensitive, and I'm not sure if the older ones were as well because I never got a chance to test it out, but this one certainly is. That's just cool. Well, keyboard is just beautiful, but I want to try out the stringed instruments. I feel like they're going to be the most interesting. Wow. I'm amazed that it's a piece of software that comes pre-built into Apple software. I'm so glad that I can finally use it. All right, I ended up spending way more time on Garageband than I was meant to, so let's go ahead and check out one more feature that I'm excited about, and then we'll call it a day. And that feature is slow-mo video. Super basic, but let's see what that did. What can be slow mode? What can be slow mode? I have nothing around here. I wish I had chosen maybe a less gross example. There's also like a pano mode, there's a time-lapse mode, which also might come in handy for some things. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I've tried out the two main things I was most excited for, and then the rest is just stuff I'm gonna try out in my own time. And I'm sure you're gonna see a lot more of this iPad in future videos, just because it's gonna come in very handy for music production and instrument videos and stuff like that. And literally everything about this iPad is way better than any other device that I've had in the past, especially my iPad Mini 2. I am very excited to finally have an upgrade and get some good use out of it. I know this video wasn't too technical, I didn't really go in depth as to what's inside this thing, but let's be honest, there's already loads of videos out there that do just that and are way better, so you probably don't want to hear me talking about it, but this video is more of a pure unboxing video and my first reactions. But either way, I'm really liking what I've seen so far, and all in all, I'm very happy to be now part of the Apple family.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the Information Purification Directives. Purification, of course, is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on Earth. We shall prevail.
But I still prefer Android. And with that, that's going to be it for another edition of Looted. Shout out to Keegan McAdams, Natasha Savage, Pikafu, Luna, George Acock, and Luke Rees on Patreon. Thank you very much for your support. If you like this video, hit like. If you like all our videos, hit subscribe. We've got more videos on the way. If you want to support the channel further, check out a link in the description to our Patreon page, and you can also join us on our Discord server. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.